Okay. Imagine that, but like the startup for an educational OS, bro. Ah, my nostalgia for the like Nintendo era, like, yeah, it's awesome. I love this producer, Dusk. I sent them a message requesting ability to access and use this OST. I'll definitely put my own spin on it, but like every good thing needs a startup sound. Windows did it, Mac has it, like all the video game consoles have them. It's lit. So something like that. That's setting the stage for today's. And that's kind of what inspired me to really work on OS and OX today. So that was kind of also a test for this. So their other video, the heaven.exe, very similar, quite cool. Um, but they have stated that like we can use these without getting copyright flagged, and I'm quite curious, of course, with attribution. But if I can, come on, man, hit me up, please. I love it. It's so good. Okay, jumping into the meat of this because I want to be done for the day. Um, I was thinking about the school student experience a lot today. Um, and this is kind of a little rough draft of all of that. GPT helped a lot, but stemming from kind of the Sanctuary OS mindset and vibe, um, I just kind of want to walk through like the little startup. Um, so user boots up whatever application, operating system, web portal, something like that. Start with splash screen. Welcome, whatever their username is or their name, whatever's preferred. Hope you're doing well. The school is loading in the background. How would you like to explore today? And from there, the user kind of gets to have a tailoring of their experience. Personalization is going to be key. I mean, this is a personalized education platform. Why not make the platform be personalized as well? Um, so I kind of code worded it by the meaning, but go into the different type of portals that we're going to be working with. Uh, One thing that I am very fond of is the centralization of access, but decentralization of the data itself. So we want to make sure that the platform is community based, community owned, but it is a central community and a bunch of sub communities that can all interact. That's kind of the Web3 vision, the semantic web, they call it. Everything being interlinked properly. Sources are cited, everything's chaotic, but in a navigatable way, if that makes any sense. So not really as it currently is. Um, but let's just kind of continue on this. I'll explain the subtypes beforehand, but given a bunch of these subtypes of ways to kind of consume content, um, it brings us to some UX considerations. This is, again, trying to set the stage for all of this, but we've got the splash screen, we got the intro audio, we've got whatever. If we want to have an AI like or just text to speech talking, that would be really cool. I'm leaning into the futuristic Y2K type like aesthetic. Chef's kiss. It's nostalgic to me, so I love it. For the different types of user devices, however, this can kind of be manifested in a couple different ways. I am personally leaning more towards kind of a ring approach. So, such that if somebody has like a video game controller, they can kind of just operate the system as need be. Um, Even down to the level of a freaking smart TV remote control being able to do the basic controls. Obviously, one's not going to be able to type and do notes and stuff unless the controller has voice to text, which I would really like to work on. I think a hardware line for enabling all of these features would be great and a good way to make some money on the side. Um, I digress. I wonder if y'all can hear the rain. It is currently raining. Very good aesthetic to work in. I'm enjoying it. life is good. But yeah, so for console and also potentially any of the other methods, having a ring of like essentially like a quick access ring in video games. Like I know GTA's got one. The Last of Us did one that's great. That's on my mind because I'm currently watching the show. It's amazing. Um, but further from that, with keyboard and mouse, we can do chat experience, potentially just have a conversation about what the user is trying to achieve for the day. And then from there, jump right into it. Uh, on the mobile, on the phone, the big phone, we enjoy the smartphone to an extent. Um, the touch screen opens up a lot of other user interaction methods. I mean, we can do buttons. For my phone, I have a minimalist launcher that I quite enjoy. So it's just literally a list of the different apps and functionalities that I use on a day-to-day basis. So something like that, depending on what the user wants. Potentially, we can even have this launcher be tailorable, akin to an operating system. Going on from there, an array like the normal app screen with icons and stuff per whatever. And then again, being able to type and have a conversation with whatever LLM to decide what would be best for the day. Or again, the ring. Regardless, we want to. What are you doing here? Get out of here, GeForce. What the product placement? That's interesting. That's funny. Whatever. I'll allow it. It's cool. We like NVIDIA. Um, sponsor me, please. um, yeah, we'll just roll out all the different like types of layouts. Maybe allow them to just pick. And then smart TVs. The reason I'm really thinking about the smart TVs is because the latter half of the demographic is going to be people who kind of consume mainly on their TVs, like my father. He is really into watching YouTube on the big screen. So I kind of want to allow that. More forward thinking, however, I want to also be able to integrate augmented reality and virtual reality access to this. I'm a big thinker. I love this. The description that I put into this, and this can even be tailorable with all these like text to 3D model generations. Like have like a home space that you can work in. That's a really cool feature that I'm seeing. That's probably going to be coming up, and if nobody makes it, I'm going to make it myself. But yeah, mine would be Cloud World. Have like a physical portal and have a labeled turnstile to potentially select the mode. Have the portal change colors or change effects based on whatever you're trying to do, and then like allow the user to just actually enter that portal, because the term portal is utilized for all of this, like the web portal. I've deemed this the ARCS portal in my personal notes, even though I know publicly facing this is going to be just SCOOL. But the way I'm thinking of SCOOL is that it's kind of more of a framework, not necessarily the actual platform, but rather the community. So the scalable community for open online learning. So like the ways you access SCOOL can be through the ARCS portal. So I don't know. And that also allows us to license SCOOL as a framework to companies to be utilized. We'll figure something out. But yeah, again, ideally vary this per device. And then a sub user option to even just skip this intro entirely, just jump straight into like a home page. We'll figure something out just based on whatever the user actually is really interested in doing. So that brings us to the different types of portals. I had GPT conversation over all of them, and I will be publishing all of them. I'm not going to link all of them because it's too many links. But go in, figure out what you're most interested in. They're all going to be in the ARCS portal folder under the Creostic Academia. So looking more into these, let's just go to this little table that I had drafted up. Likely we'll be ranking these if it's going to be hierarchical based on user preference, and then like whatever kind of type it is. There's going to be an ideal user flow, like from consumption to reflection to creation. So going on to that, also participation with consumption. It's kind of a tricky like line to cross, but it's all fun. So hello, wife. recording my video, and then I'll be ready to chill. um, Distraction. So first of that being short form content, and I think this is where we can really shine, by allowing people to still use short form content in a potentially less addicting way, but still beneficial. So I call it fast. I had it was a linguistics exercise. I wanted to think of F terms to go into all of this. Unsure if that will make it to the final UX, but I enjoy it. So short form content. The one sentence description is that it's quick, bite-sized learning, flashcards, TikTok style reels, daily trivia, etc. Potentially going even further from that I will describe shortly. Second, fathom. Long form content consumption. That being documentaries, lectures, podcasts, seminar recordings, whatever you can think of that is longer than the like 1 to 5 minute thing that's for short form content, or even sub 1 minute. Next to forum. This is going to be on the more of the participation side of things. Asynchronous Q&A, peer debates, collaborative note threads. The way I think about it is combination of the YouTube comment section, Reddit, Packback, and Stack Overflow. These wiki style things. Again, the way I envision it is such that all of these tools are integrated. This is all based on the same database. It's just kind of different ways of viewing and interacting with the data. It brings the entire thing to a centralized knowledge corpus, which is like fundamentally what the internet is. It's decentralized in such that the sources are decentralized, but the internet as an access point is a centralized access point to that knowledge corpus. So that's the way I'm trying to make it such that that access point is going to be actually usable, less chaotic, and not necessarily profit focused. The way our current internet is inherently profit focused, and that's great and all. People have made a lot of money off of that, and it helps build businesses. But there are a lot of caveats to it, and it's not the best model for education. So that's, again, what I'm trying to help fix. Moving on, we do have room for fun, like just pure fun. I really enjoy gamified content. This entire thing is gamified, but like specifically gamified content. I was a cool math kid. Whether or not I learned the most from cool math is debatable, but I mean, there's rising platforms like Brilliant, Khan Academy's got like gamified problems and stuff. So stuff like that within the fun portal. So at that point, the one sentence description, mini games, simulations, quizzes, challenge boards, stuff like that. You can have a competitive aspect to it. You can have fun with school, man. Like it does not need to be boring. Fifth, one that I personally enjoy the most, and the one that I think all of the Web3 people will enjoy the most, is the concept of free. So it is an exploration. It is my idea for the ideal Web3 browser, and having that be everything is interlinked. This is the way that the internet started. This is the way that the internet is evolving into. What we're currently at is very scattered knowledge corpuses, very siloed knowledge corpuses, and we need to kind of break the walls of the silos and bridge the gaps between them in order to actually have ideal communication, ideal interoperability, like ideal community. So being able to bridge those gaps is something that is a goal. The one sentence description, Wikipedia style knowledge browsing, web rabbit holes, cross-linked ideas. And I believe this table was generated before I further ideated on them. So just stay tuned for a bit. Going on to flow. One thing that I personally wish existed was the concept of these like minimal type browsers. And I mean, I use Min. Who knows what that's going to pop up? Yeah, like Nord stuff. I was looking at the sleep token. Regardless, minimal browsers such that it's like no distractions whatsoever. And even going forward into that is the concept of single topic deep dives. We can auto curate this, do like Pomodoro style learning trails, like where you like go on for 25 minutes, off for 25 minutes. I think that's also more of an artifact to, I was talking with about the fast concept, limiting the short form like consumption to Pomodoro style things, like where you have 25 on and then you have like 5 minutes to reflect, um, or 20 on, 5, 35, whatever you want. Um, but just like making it such that you're not just passively consuming things. And I know that's what people want, and there will definitely be like kickback, because this will not be as dopamine driven. And our reward systems are going to need a little bit of recalibration, but I would argue that that is justified and necessary recalibration. Um, I don't know. It's something to think about, but really think as to why you go to the content you do. I cannot speak for everybody, but I personally go to content to learn. And I would argue that that's kind of how the majority of content should be. Even the most entertaining sources can be like learning opportunities if you think about them enough. Brain rot's great, but it is essentially, as the name states, rotting our brains. It's good to turn our minds off every once in a while, have a good laugh, but at the meat of it, it's not fulfilling. Um, I'm sorry, it's just not. I wish it was, but it just isn't. Regardless, flow is going to be built for such that it is purpose driven, such that it is something that you can assist the focus of the user. As somebody with ADHD, I really wish this was a thing, so I'm making it. I digress. Moving on, Forge. So this is where I believe a lot of the creation can occur. Kind of a subset of the forum. The Forge is going to be like a viewport for all of the creative engagement tools. So stuff like building curriculums, uploading content, remixing lessons, author challenges, stuff like that. We can gamify the creation system as well. There's a lot of topics that can be explored within each of these, and I'll continue doing so. These one sentence descriptions are not all encompassing, is all I will say. Eighth, found. I enjoy the spontaneity of discovery, and one prime example of that is the Arena Explore tab. The Arena platform is non-algorithmic, which I do respect, and their Explore feed is a live feed of everything everybody has just pinned to their boards, and I find that amazing. It's quite cool, but on a larger community, I'm unsure if that would really be sustainable, if not just information overload. So I do think that algorithms can help us. I know they're like a big F and algorithm type deal, and I agree with the sentiment, because currently the algorithms are focused on keeping you on the platform. But I would argue that these algorithms can be utilized for your benefit as well. So that's what we're trying to do. That's a reoccurring theme. This is a problem. This is what we're doing to solve it. I don't know. So the one sentence description of that: feeling curious mode, AI curated rabbit holes, or surprise content. Ideally, we want this to be how people kind of discover new things. By looking at what somebody already knows, you can find out what somebody doesn't know, because we have the entirety of human knowledge. Not everybody has the entirety of human knowledge within their brain, myself included. I would argue that nobody does. So there will always be something that you have not seen. That's where I think the novelty can come in spontaneity, as GPT called it, serendipitous discovery. And I quite enjoy that. Finally, where we want to push people during those Pomodoro breaks is the viewpoint of framing. This is where the personal knowledge management system and the key to all of this, reflection, comes in. So meaning of a frame, like to frame, is like a mirror or snapshot of growth. The one sentence description being to pause, reflect, and review what you framed in your mind. as we build these connections, it's just a wireframe, but we have to fill in the gaps through active reflection. So that's all great. Went into that. GPT made this spaghetti mess. I'm pretty sure it works. I'm pretty sure it's good. But I think the TLDR of it is everything should be really interconnected. Um, so we got like the core data layer, like different inputs to this entire system. Alt layer being like whatever alternative learning tool or accelerative learning tools. They call it autonomous learning tools. That's interesting. I think what GPT is more referring to is like the AI curation aspect of it, and they conflated alt with that, and they're two separate things. So I will have to consult them about that. But then the content index and embeds. One big thing of this is I do think that the only way to get to Web3 is to find a way to index the entirety of the internet more than it already has been. The search engine optimization and the search engine itself did a great job of allowing you to find content based on specific keywords, but it didn't necessarily automate the interlinking of that content and the contextualization of that content. So building a new search engine based on just that, like the interlinking and contextualization of content. That's probably going to be the first actually technical build that I attempt past doing this. So that's the next thing that I'm procrastinating by continuing working on UI and UX. Speaking of UI, I am building this on, like, not building this on Arena, but like ideating about it on Arena. I've already done like little studies on like the YouTube music thing, the Git bash. I had an idea for like text-based content, and even like the transcripts of content potentially, if we're allowing for like things to be mutable, like that being like editable, like have history of just the single content over like whatever selection of text. So it's not like as vomity as the Git bash like diff stack. Like looked at Wikipedia and made some critiques. I'm gonna be continuing doing this. I'll link the thing in there, but just like my own personal like ideation on like what current things are doing great and not so great. So we are already up to 22, coming on 23 minutes. So I'm gonna wrap this up by just like quickly showing off everything. Word vomit. So actually, I think I worked backwards. So from frame backwards. I apologize for those with motion sickness, but the way I kind of started is we had like little thinking points. I wrote what I thought about, had GPT respond to it, and then I usually made critiques. I guess for frame, I have not gone back and made critiques yet. I had to go do this. What is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Oh, 9 times. I'm gonna drag this out. Easier way to show it. The way I kind of went through and labeled these is in true ARCS fashion. Augment realities, EX, whatever term, another linguistic exercise that I'm putting on myself. The way that I envisioned the like ARCS name was that of akin to, you know, Minecraft has the little sidebar, like the little phrases and stuff. So potentially going in and having little like augment realities experience is the like foundation name, but subnaming conventions for that are based on that, something like that. Or potentially like having like a scroll bar that has all of those or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure something out. But for fast, augment realities expedition, fathom, augment realities exegesis, and that is defined as, here, I'll pull it up. Critical explanation or analysis, especially of a text, akin to exposition, explanation, especially a critical explanation of a text or portion of scripture. So it is a pretty Gnostic, like as in GNOSTIC, not AGNOSTIC, terminology in like its etymology, but I think it really sums it up. Why did I do that? Continuing, expurgification. Um, I'm like blanking on these off the top of my head. In the ARCS browser, I had no, not ARC browser. ARCS names. There we go. I was just thinking of a bunch of words. From what I remember, expergification is that being the words are not wording. Um, like freeing your mind. That's where it is. Forge being externalization. We're needing people to make their content external, like their thoughts and externalizing their thoughts. For the forum, expostulations, that being like having a dialect and like conversating. Um, basic found is going to be the exploration, similar to expurgification, but expurgation probably wouldn't need to claim like a make that a little bit different. But again, if I remember correctly, I cannot type. Expurgation. That being purging, cleansing, and for frame. So like we're going through and like cleaning your mind, I guess, and like reframing and like fixing things. Potentially could replace that for something about like filling the gaps. I did like that analogy a bit more, but I don't know. I guess that is like censorship, negative connotation. So potentially change that one. Oh, found and free have the same. Oh no, both of them are exploration. That's why I didn't have it. For which one was it? Fathom. I initially had it be film, but I didn't want it to be just film. I am going off on a complete tangent. TLDR, read the notes. I'll publish them in a bit. I'm going to be doing some name changes beforehand because I'm embarrassed and I need to get this right. Finally, fun was extravaganza, which I thought was quite fun. But yeah, so go through, read it. It gets quite advanced. I'm super excited to build this thing out. But yeah, peace, y'all.